this is Lisa Somerville for Divinity Designs. Today I'm here to share with you our Slimline Die Collection. Divinity Designs currently carries 12 different Slimline dies, along with an assortment of Slimline paper pads. The Slimline paper pads measure 6 by 9, so that you can easily use them along with the Slimline die sets. Our Slimline dies are designed to be used with the Slimline card base. This is an extra large die and requires a large die cutting machine so that the die will fit through your machine. This die is 9 by 7 3/4 and scored in the center. When folded, it's 3 7/8 by 9 and fits into a number 10 envelope. You'll die cut and emboss this die following the directions for your die cutting machine. Emboss your die using a silicone mat. This will give you the added detail to the die cut. Then fold on your score line. You can use a bone folder for a nice crisp score. When using our dies, you can always tell which dies need to be embossed, as that's indicated by the 2 shades of purple on the packaging and the web image. Now I'm going to share with you the Slimline dies. We have Slimline rectangles. This is a set of 7 dies. It coordinates with the Slimline card base and the Slimline layering rectangles. Here they are, die cut and layered on top of each other. Next, we have the Slimline layering rectangles. This is a set of 6 dies. It coordinates with the Slimline card base and the Slimline rectangles. I've put an L on the back of all my layering dies so that when I reach for them, I can easily tell which ones are the layering dies. And here they are, layered on top of each other. Shown here are the Slimline rectangles with the Slimline layering rectangles. The blue are the rectangles, those are the larger dies. The yellow are the layering rectangles. The Slimline scalloped rectangles coordinates with the Slimline card base and the Slimline rectangles. Shown here are the Slimline scalloped rectangles layered on top of each other. When using the Slimline scalloped rectangles with the Slimline card base, you're going to notice that the scalloped rectangle is a tad larger than the card base. This is so that none of the edges show through to the front. Here's a sample using the Slimline scalloped rectangles with the card base. Shown here are the Slimline scalloped rectangles along with the Slimline rectangles. When using these 3 die sets, be sure to die cut and emboss following the directions for your die cutting machine. Again, when you see the 2 shades of purple on the packaging, that indicates you should emboss your dies to bring out the detail of the dies. Currently, we have 3 different border dies. The Slimline Curvy Slopes, this is a set of 2 dies. The Slimline Clouds, a set of 3 dies. And Slimline Grasses, a set of 2 dies. When you die cut the border dies, you'll notice that there is no bottom edge on these dies. That is so that you can make them as wide as you want to use on your projects. Now let me show you the die cuts. Here's the Slimline Curvy Slopes. You can use it for snow or hills. The Slimline Clouds and the Slimline Grasses. We have a grass hill and a grass lawn. You can use them separately or you can use them together. Here's what they look like when they're die cut into cardstock. Again, remember there is no bottom edge on the die so that you can cut them as wide as you like using your paper trimmer. and then simply cut the edge off. Now I'm going to share with you some of our decorative slimline background dies. We have the slimline flower petal background. This die coordinates with the slimline card base. Here you can see a die cut. You can add the slimline layering rectangle behind it to add some color. Layer that on a slimline rectangle. You can also add that on top of the slimline scalloped rectangle, and then add to the slimline card base. Shown here, it's just layered on top of the slimline rectangle. This is the slimline pierced window frame. It coordinates with the slimline card base and has 3 window openings. The window frame dies are perfect for shaker cards. You can use it along with the slimline layering rectangles to add color behind the windows. Layer it with one of the slimline rectangles, and also layer on top of the slimline scalloped rectangles, and then onto the slimline card base. Now I'm going to share with you 3 of our newest slimline background dies. We have the slimline bubbles background, coordinates with the slimline card base. The slimline pierced frame coordinates with the slimline card base. And the slimline rounded windows, which coordinates with the slimline card base. These 3 slimline dies can also be used along with the slimline rectangles, the slimline layering rectangles, and slimline scalloped rectangles. I'll show you some samples. Here's the slimline pierced frame, shown here with the slimline layering rectangles. Here I've used the slimline bubbles background with the largest die from the slimline rectangles. Here it is with the slimline scalloped rectangles. For another fun decorative look, you can use it along with the slimline rounded windows, like I have on this card here, using the Great Catch Stamp Die Duo set. Here's the slimline rounded windows with the slimline layering rectangle. I use the layering rectangle to go along with the slimline rounded windows because the slimline rounded windows is the same size as the largest die from the slimline rectangles. If you use it along with the slimline rectangles, you'll notice that the edge of the rectangle sticks out. Using the layering rectangle, you don't see the edge of the rectangle. Now I'm going to share with you just a few samples that I've created using our Slimline Die collection. Kelly Holland will be on next to share with you additional samples. Here we have the slimline card base, slimline layering rectangles, slimline rectangles, slimline pierced frame, along with a sentiment found in our July Blessings Box subscription kit from the stamp set called Let's Celebrate, and a sneak peek at both our sunflower layering combo die and our festive fall slimline sized paper pad. This card uses the Great Catch Stamp Die Duo, slimline card base, slimline pierced frame, slimline layering rectangles, Now I have 2 Christmas cards to share with you using our Slimline Die collection. This card features the Slimline card base, Slimline scalloped rectangles, the Slimline rounded windows, Slimline curvy slopes, along with additional Divinity Designs stamp die duos, custom dies, and paper pad collections. Last month, I created a card similar to this using our Slimline dies. I had to use 2 of our rectangles to make an opening. Now we have the Slimline pierced frame die to create this look a lot easier. This card features the Slimline card base, the Slimline pierced frame, along with the Holy Night die, and the Rustic Christmas Slimline paper pad. The dimensions for all these dies can be found on the product pages on our website. Now stick around as Kelly Holland shares with you additional samples using our Slimline die sets.
Hi everybody, it's Kelly Holland here. I'm going to show you some of the Slimline cards. The next few cards feature our flower petal background. This one also includes our Thank You Jesus stamped die duo. Here's one cut out on mirror card. It's a shiny cardstock and it uses our America the Beautiful Slimline paper pad. This time it was cut out using mirror sparkle cardstock and our Slimline Beautiful Blooms paper, along with our Mr. and Mrs. die. Next, we have cards featuring our scalloped rectangles, along with our flower petal background. This card also features the Beautiful Blooms stamped die duo, the Butterfly Trio, and the Blessings border. Here's one using our Slimline Beautiful Blooms paper, along with our Hello Friend stamped die duo. Here's some scallops cut on metallic paper, and our With Sympathy stamped die duo. Now I have some scalloped rectangle cards, along with the rectangles and layering rectangles. These are the retro ornaments in the Merry Christmas die. This card features our long and lean letters and our Bitty Blossoms flower dies. This card features our geometric paper pad along with the Birthday Blooms stamped die duo. Here we have the Butterfly Trio again with one of our tree tag dies. This one features the America the Beautiful Slimline paper pad, along with our USA map and some of our star dies. These cards will feature our scalloped rectangles, along with our pierced window frame. This card also has additional dies from our April Blessings box. Here's an elephant from Bundle of Love stamped die duo. This is the cross stitch embossing folder, and we have pennants. These stamps are called Love You Very Much, and they also have dies in the set. Two cards that feature our Sprinkled with Love stamped die duo, and this one features our long and lean letters and our large numbers. Our next cards will feature our pierced window frame. This one's a shaker, and it uses the fish from Great Catch, large letters, along with pine cones and pine branches, and our bow, and our Rustic Christmas paper pad in the World die. These stamps are from Flip Flop Fun stamped die duo. Another one with the America the Beautiful paper pad. Thanks a bunch. Cute little monkey. Here's another shaker, and this is from Little Monsters. Another bundle of love with pennants. This is called Great Faith stamped die duo. This is our raspberry stamp set. Some various stamps from different patriotic sets in the patriotic section, along with some star dies. This card features our Curvy Slopes Slimline dies, along with the Merry Christmas die and the Trees and Deer dies. Card with our retro ornaments, rustic Christmas paper pad, and trees and deer, along with the Curvy Slopes. Here's our Slimline Clouds on top, along with our Farm Friends stamp set and our barn die. Here's a card that features the clouds also. This one has the curvy slopes and the clouds, along with the trees and the neighborhood border. These cards feature our rectangles and layering rectangles, slimline dies. This card has the Holy Night die. This card features the Rocket Man stamp die duo, along with our star dies, long and lean letters. And here's a few cards showing the Grasses slimline die. It's our baby set. This is the Hug stamp die duo, along with different sets. Here we have Farm Friends, along with our Farm Fence die.
Thank you, Kelly, for sharing those fabulous card samples created by our design team. For more inspiration, visit our samples gallery, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Pinterest and Instagram.